All right, guys, welcome into the first ever Northwest Georgia basketball. What we're going to call it, the midweek show or the Wednesday show. Um, Obviously, there's a lot more basketball games than there were football, so we're going to try to talk about as many as we can, as many teams as we can, regions as we can, in the short amount of time that we're on here. Joined by all the usual characters. Got RJ Casey, Tim Tao, and the boss man, Mr. Lawrence. He let me he let me go crazy with our intro there. So anyway,
That's pretty good.
all right, thank you, Lawrence. What you got?
Man, like I said, I was telling you guys before we got on the show, I've been concentrating on football so far. This weekend is it. After football's over, I'm gonna dig deep into basketball. But I have noticed a few teams around that caught my attention. On the boys' side, Calhoun's played well. I know they lost to South Paulden last week. They got that big 6'9" kid. What's his name? Dylan.
Was it Faulkner?
Faulkner, yeah, Dylan Faulkner. He had a shot the other night to beat Harrison, last second shot. South Paulding's another team that's done well. Scored over 100 points a couple times. Just ready to dig deep into it here in the next month, man. With all these holiday tournaments coming up, and we'll see who is who by the end of the month for sure.
Yeah, I was coming from that same region. I've been impressed from that Hiram squad, man. Matthews just ripping the rim off. He's going to be tough out of that region. He's the big tight end. Converts as a basketball player. I don't know. He may be basketball player first and then tight end second, but we'll see. What is
I
he
know
about?
we got a couple of
6'6"?
Yeah, I know we got a couple of guys here at the bottom, man, that know some stuff about some girls basketball for sure.
Heck yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Elite squads, elite girls basketball squads. Anybody want to start? RJ, Tim?
RJ's got a high rank over me right now since he's got a win over me, so I think he needs.
Sounds good.
Yeah, I was able to go out and see the Nets play last night. Started 7 AAA region play against Gilmer, the 5-15 rivalry, starting it off, and picked up a second win over Gilmer. Of course, first one was in the tip-off tournament, the Thanksgiving tournament that was held in LJ last week or so of November, and of course that one always happens, but now it's region games against Gilmer again, and so you're getting the 3 games that you had a long while ago, and Pickens won the season series. The girls have won the season series. They'll look for the sweep later in the season, but they're 6-0, ranked number 5 in 3A, and the girls' side 1-0 region, tied with Wesleyan and Dawson right now. Wesleyan, I sent y'all that score last night. Wesleyan beating Lumpkin at Wesleyan in overtime, and it was shocking. Pretty much, I know Wesleyan's a good team, and they're ranked number 3 in the polls. But Lumpkin, you're defending state champion in 3A, and they hadn't lost in a long time, and that was just a shock to me. And
with all due respect to the Lumpkin women's program, but if I would have told you in week 1 that Lumpkin would be in 4th place in the region, what would you say, RJ?
I wouldn't have believed you.
Yeah. Returning all their players and a state championship run, it's pretty crazy. But that's what I'm saying. I said it off the air, but Region 7 AAA girls, and I may get some flack for this, but I don't care. But I think Region 7 AAA girls is the best region in the state of Georgia.
I can agree with that because not too long ago you had 5 girls teams in the top 10 in the 3A poll. Dawson's probably going to sneak up in there pretty quick with the way they're playing. White County's pretty good. They've got a lot of taller girls that they play, and they play pretty good. They can play a pretty good brand of basketball. Talked about Pickens, fresh off of Final Four run in 4A last year, and they're returning a bunch of girls they're on a good run right now. Wesleyan is a pretty good bunch coming up to 3A from single A private, and they've got a good squad, and you can't forget about Lumpkin, the defending 3A champion. So it definitely is the best region for girls basketball in the state, no doubt.
Yeah, just kind of carrying off what you're talking about, RJ, talking about Region 7 AA. The Fan Lady Rebels are the defending region champs. I got to see them. I saw them in action too. We hosted Model last night, and Coach Sally Eccles does a great job of that Model team, always does. But Fan was able to get the win. But I'm really excited for the future matchup between Fan and the Murray girls. I think Murray has got a very good team. They're ranked in the top 10 now. They've got the Dotson girl, and I can't remember the other girl who's a good player for them. I apologize, but I'm looking forward to that game here in a few weeks. But I want to touch a little bit on the boys' side. Got to see Model last night, and Model came into the game as a favorite, but I was really proud of how the young Fan Rebel team fought. But Model, man, my goodness, the size they have with Jeremiah's Hurd and his brother Jakiris. I'm pretty sure led all scorers last night. And he's a ball player too. Model's a lot of fun to watch. They're well coached, and I know Ben, you've probably seen them too. But I would imagine Model and Chattooga would be the 1-2 right now in Region 7 AA is the potential region matchup. But we have a finger.
Chattooga is in the
single A. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. We gotta, they did already play this year, and Model got victory in Somerville. But
you think I know that from football, but
non-region.
But I would imagine Model would be the favorite right now in Region 7.
I'm hearing North Murray's got a pretty good team.
I've also heard that.
Skylar, what's his name? Skylar Williams.
Yeah.
I heard he's tearing
up the football field as well.
So we'll see how they can compete. I don't know how their size matches up with Model. Model has the size advantage on most folks.
I'll tell you a team we kind of forgot too is Rockmart. Man, they're always strong.
Yeah,
I haven't heard anything about them.
Yeah,
and I did see where Haralson County was 3-0, but I don't know who they've played. So it's gonna be competitive, man, from top to bottom, I think.
Yeah, we're talking about size and tall kids. Piggins obviously played Gilmer last night, and on the boys' side, Gilmer's got sophomore Jackson McVeigh getting some attention on the AAU circuit and all that. Tall kid, looks about 6'7", maybe 6'8". He's still got room to grow. He's a sophomore, so he's probably 14, 15 years old at that. And he's got room to grow. He's going to fill out. He hadn't filled out yet, so he'll do that. I believe he had 12 points last night against Pickens, but Pickens was able to come away with a win, 75-66 over Gilmer. Pick up a region win to get region play started. Dragons had two players foul out, a couple players playing with 4 fouls, a couple playing with 3, and able to pick up a win. Jaden Stewart, senior, had 26 points. And then had Caleb Lanford had 17 points. So Dragons have some kids that they can rely on, and I think they can do some things on the boys' side for 7-3A as well.
Just jumping back into 7-2A, talking about Haralson County, they beat a Ranburne, Alabama team 62-38. Also got wins over Mountain Zion and Temple. So
okay.
So, Temple normally has it.
Lawrence, I think you touched on this earlier. Gordon Central.
They're 5-1 right now.
Well.
Yeah, 5-1. I don't know who they played, but that's just a guy says don't sleep on North Murray boys, man. They're going to be tough, very deep.
Yeah.
Well, Sam.
Now Gordon Central did have a win over Mount Zion as well. 74-62, and I think Gordon Central and Rockmart tomorrow. So I think we'll find out a little bit about Gordon Central tomorrow.
Yeah, Rockmart. I was looking at their schedule. They're listed right now at 2-2. They lost to Central and Excel Christian Academy with wins over Herd and Unity.
Yeah, it was. I saw like we were talking Calhoun earlier. I saw Calhoun score against Cedartown. That, that surprised me a little bit, but yeah, North Murray going to be a team to look out for. Apparently, I know Pickens is going to play them in a couple of weeks in a tournament. They're playing North Murray. They're playing Murray County and Southeast Woodfield on in the tournament. So that's three different teams. I know Southeast has the Cal Rich kid, who's a state um, guy, and he's been good, and so it'll be fun. It'll be fun to see these different teams.
North Murray right now is just lighting up the scoreboard. I mean, the lowest they've scored is 70, and they've scored 95 plus twice, 90 plus once. They won 90-49 over a pretty decent Coosa team that's got a couple players that can put the ball in the basket. So I mean, that's a big win, and they got wins.
I enjoyed watching Coosa last year. They played very fundamentally sound basketball. They're well coached.
Yeah. And Southeast Woodfield, they beat Southeast pretty good, and also wins over Hickson, Tennessee, and Kings Academy in Woodstock. I don't know where that's at. But they have Haralson County Friday night, so that'll tell you a little bit about both of those teams. Neither one of them have a loss yet. Let's see here. Just jumping down, I'm going to jump down and talk the local single A region. Trine and Chattooga matched up in their quote unquote border war in Somerville, and Chattooga actually swept, which was surprising because Trine girls were ranked in single A, and I heard they started on. I didn't make it for the first of the game, but I heard they Trine started on like a 10 or 11-0 run, and the Indians come back and they won 58-55 there late. And then the Trine boys, they put up a good fight. They had a big time performance from one of their little point guards there. I'm trying to think of his name. Josh Cornett. He went for 20 plus, had a bunch of threes. He was just knocking them down one after another. And then Logan Stokes down low for a small school, 6'5", 235. That's hard to deal with. And Chattooga's got a couple guys that are pretty good size. Brady Gross, he had 15 plus rebounds, and he stands about 6'6". And they actually have a 14-year-old. I'm pretty sure he's still 14. He's a freshman, and he stands somewhere around 6'6", 6'7". And if he can, I say grow, but I don't mean grow as far as physically.
Yeah,
basketball. Yeah, he'll
get some weight on him.
I mean, he's pretty thick. I think he's okay weight wise, but he just needs a little more work, and I think he could be tough to deal with down low. You're definitely not going to get no easy layups.
No.
But that region out in front right now, Darlington and Chattooga, of course, only 2 games in. Everybody's played 2 games in the region. They're both 2-0, and as I mentioned earlier to y'all, Darlington will travel to Chattooga next Tuesday. That should be an interesting matchup in the early season.
Sounds like it'll be an interesting girls matchup. I know I got to see Darlington last weekend. It was interesting to see them. I know they had a couple of girls that still were on the team last year because Pickens and Darlington played last year as well. They've got a couple girls that can carry them. I pretty much think they're going to be the favorite in that region. They're probably going to run away with that region, most likely.
Yeah, it's hard to say who the girls' favorite is. Dade County normally has a good team. Trine obviously ranked, so you would think they'd have a good team. I guess you could say Darlington is the preseason favorite. but we'll see. That's why they play the game.
Yeah, and it's definitely different with between football and basketball. You can tell the differences because any off night, and you could for any of your stars or
Oh yeah,
your bench players, and anybody can get got.
yeah. If the ball's not going in the bucket, it can go both ways. That it kind of when Chattooga played Model earlier, Model had a guy get hot late, and he busted a couple threes, and it kind of sealed the deal in that game. Shooting is I've seen where you can't guard them sometimes. It don't matter if you're out in their face; they're just knocking them down, and it's amazing sometimes how people can shoot the way they do, and the way that people throw up threes these days. I'm sure it's the same way over there. I mean, people ask me already, has the shot clock, have you seen anything with the shot clock? Has it made any difference in the regular portions of the game? Absolutely not, because people's firing it up. But late in the game, if you have a win, if you're say a 10 or an 8-point lead and you're trying to milk it a little bit, that's where it makes a difference because you got to keep the game flow going. You can't just, I've seen people milk the clock for 2 minutes, throwing the ball around. Well, you can't do that anymore. So it kind of adds possessions to the game. So that's why you got to value those possessions, and you can't, when you get the ball, you got to score. You don't want to turn it over. But that's always been the case though. So.
And I've seen a couple of times where the shot clock has come into play. I know the Nets have forced a couple of shot clock violations, and last night the Dragons forced a couple of 10-second violations, which is going to come more prevalent now
because you can see it
because people can see it.
Yeah. Well, I think that kind of makes that easier on the officials because they could see it as well.
And they're not having to force to count it in their head while they're looking at all the action and everything.
And I don't know who's in charge of it, but any official that could see the clock could make the call. I guess I don't know how they mandate that, but
I know the way they're doing it in Pickens is they have a separate guy controlling the shot clock and all that.
I think that's mandated by GHSA. They have to have a separate guy. But there was an instance. Speaking of the shot clock, there was an instance yesterday where there was a timeout for somebody called timeout, and there was only like 5 seconds left on the clock, and the team inbounded, and the shot clock went off like 5 seconds later. And it was a turnover. So, I don't exactly know 100% of the rules. I'd have to look it up, but whether or not that should reset or not.
I wouldn't think with a timeout I think it would only reset if there's an offensive rebound or a foul or knocked out of bounds and all. It won't on and out of bounds, but if there's a turnover and a repossession, then it would obviously reset. And I think if there's a rebound, it resets to 25. I think
it touches the rim.
Yeah, and if there's an offensive rebound, I think it resets to 25. But it's still people are still learning to deal with it.
Oh yeah, I mean
it's gonna be an all season thing.
Yeah, when that happened yesterday, I mean everybody just looked around like what happened? Why is it going off? And then really the officials kind of looked at each other too, and then they made a decision that it was the correct call, correct thing. So they had to kind of explain to everybody. Mm-hmm. But I've seen some inadvertent where the shot went up late, it hits the rim. Buzzer still goes off, the other team rebounds it, and they kind of pause for a second, and then they're like, "Oh, okay, go." Like a play on situation. I've seen a few of those. So, well, for the inaugural week, I think we'll close it down. We don't have a lot of comments here. If we had a little more participation, we might could talk about whoever teams they want to. Maybe next week Since they know we're going to be on, they can come on and talk to us about their favorite teams, and we can put their comments up and talk about scores or big performances.
Yeah, it's like what we say here at the Team FYN Sports. We want to highlight and promote all these kids and what they're doing and all these teams, because not a whole lot of these teams get coverage up in this area. It's all Atlanta and South Georgia. So all these teams deserve some recognition for what they're doing throughout the season, and hopefully that's what we can do.
Yep, that's what it's all about. Get these teams and these kids some recognition on the boys and the girls side. So, all righty. Until next time, I appreciate it, RJ.
Yes, sir.